we were just saying there, like the power of the supercars, and that community sort of aspect of it, and sort of coming together in, I think those quite difficult times. So you were just saying, I'm going to be really cheeky and ask if you can repeat the story, because it was
Yeah, it's fine.
really nice, about your friend who obviously was taking the children out on the track, and just really nice to sort of hear that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so what basically, it was 2024 September, we done a charity event for Morgstone. So it was sponsored by, at the time I was working with Club 360, filming and stuff like that, and Club 360 was one of the main sponsors, really. And then obviously you had Elite Storage, which is now Supercar Sanctuary. They had their stand. Obviously there was other businesses which were sponsoring the event as well. And basically Ryan, which is one of my friends, he has a GT3 RS, so he was there at the show, obviously in Morgstone. So I don't know whether he was leaving his car there. He was leaving his car there for the day, but I wasn't too sure if he was there for the next day, which was Pembrey Supercar thing as well, which went on the next day. So basically we had 2 Lamborghinis which dropped out to take the kids around the track. So in the end, I approached him, and I said to him, can you do me a massive favour? Well, actually, at first I said, do you remember me? And he said, of course I remember you. He said, you're the person that filmed my car last year. And I said, oh my God, I said, I can't believe you still, recognise me. So I asked him for a massive favour. I said, can you do me a massive favour? I said, do you mind taking the kids around the track? And I said, it could be various. I said, there's kids who have obviously, been diagnosed with cancer, children which have got disabilities. There was a wide range of obviously children and everything going on. So he said, yeah, no problem, of course I can. He said, is 200 miles enough? And I just laughed. I said, yeah, I think so. It wasn't enough. By the end of the morning, you had to go out and get fuel. In all fairness, it definitely wasn't enough. So I done a massive promotional video for Morgstone, because obviously Club 360 were asking me, can you do the video and stuff like that? I said, yeah, no problem. So I got as much as I can in there. Literally the GT3 RS, it was back and forth all morning. I did have actually one of my other friends come down, which was Wayne. He's from Cambran, so he has a 1000 brake GTR. His car was non-stop, back and forth as well, because obviously the kids, they see something like that, they're like, oh my God, it's not. They want to go out there. There's a massive spoiler in the back. There was another guy as well which had a Ferrari. I don't know his name, and I'm not going to say the wrong name either because I don't want to.
No, of course.
He took the kids out, and I remember when I was filming the actual production, the actual video for Morgstone, there was a kid, and the guy, he said, yeah, jump in the car, rev the car. And I captured the kid, and he was like, oh my God, this is like, excuse my language, but fucking amazing, basically. And he was so sweet, because when you see stuff like that, like I was saying, like the car community, yes, you've got supercars, but I think when you use that to that advantage where you can raise money, I think that day alone, I think Morgstone, they raised something like, I think it was like 12 to 13 grand for that day.
Wow.
Which was all donations and everything as well. We had sponsorships. I think the top sponsorship was 5 grand. But obviously the 10 to I think it was 10 to 13 grand, that was obviously from people like me, you, which are just donating money, basically.
Yeah.
Morgan's Army as well, in all fairness, they have hit, I think it was last year when I was keeping in touch with them as well, because they were supposed to be doing it this year, but due to it's trying to find the right area to do it, basically. Yeah. So they've done Pembrey. They were looking at Clandow, but obviously I don't think Clandow is the more appropriate setting, really, because you've got licensing, there's loads of political things basically that you need to obviously put this type of event on, and this event can get bigger and bigger and bigger each year, for example. So yeah, it was absolutely, it was fantastic. But yeah, so Morgan's Army, they've actually raised, I think it was like over £1 million for children, which have obviously been
That's
diagnosed with
amazing.
cancer. Yeah, it's absolutely, it's amazing, mind, like what they've done as a community. And Matthew and Natalie, they're absolutely amazing people, honestly, for Morgan's Army.
Yeah.
And yeah, they raised over £1 million. Trying to think what else really. Yeah, and they basically, obviously, they do work alongside with Club 360 as well, which is obviously to do with the car community, which is amazing. So yeah.
No, yeah, it's so nice to hear. I think the stories like that, because I think often the car community, car culture gets a bit of a bad rep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think we sort of touched on that, but when you hear things like this, obviously it's so much more than just cars. I think it's that community culture that comes of it, right? And everyone, that togetherness, especially for causes, like you've just said. So it's really nice to sort of hear some of those stories, I think. So thank you.
Yeah, no, it's
Thank
fine,
you for sharing that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons. I think it's not one of the reasons why I started filming, but that is one of the reasons why I enjoy filming. Because when people, obviously like Morgan's Army, Club 360 as well, I gotta give a shout out to them, because in all fairness, even though I don't film for them as much anymore, they did give me a massive opportunity to obviously build up my portfolio with my videoing. Prior to that, I was just doing cars and coffee, filming the cars and coffee in the morning. It was very like these trendy videos that you do with your phone, for example. So after that, then when I joined Club 360, it was April 2024, I decided to get my first camera, which is the DJI Osmo. It's absolutely amazing. I say to anyone, I've had people approach me saying, what do you use, what things, like anything like editing and stuff like that. I've always been more than happy to give out, not like give away my secrets, obviously. I'm not going to do that. But I will say, this is the camera I use, obviously, this is the editing app, etc. and stuff like that. I've always tried to be approachable with, obviously with the filming and with the car community. Because like I said, I don't think there's enough people out there that do, that want to obviously have a positive influence on other people. It's great when you see really young photographers, for example, like 16, 17. I think it's it's a really good hobby to have. And I've said that since day one. It's such a really good hobby to have. Because obviously, as a typical 16, 17-year-old, like I not being funny, when I was 17, I was out every weekend going out to town and getting drunk, and up until even 18, I was gigging, singing, and all that music stuff as well. So it's such a positive thing for the car community to have these, so youngsters filming, videoing, or whatever they're doing. Keeps them out of trouble. That's a massive thing as well.
Yeah, 100%, definitely.
Yeah. And when you say about, obviously, like I said, I was filming the cars and coffee, and then obviously Club 360 gave me this opportunity to start filming for them. I did film for Drive Club quite briefly as well prior to that, but obviously it was on my phone. So when I started going more professional, it was with Club 360. I went over then to, obviously, I've been offered now to film with Sub 5, which is still in the making at the moment, because I think it's just when the weather's nice, when they can plan an event, and then obviously it's just getting out there and actually filming. A couple of weeks ago then, I have been offered to film with Driven Car Club, which was really interesting as well, to be fair. It was I can't even explain it. It just felt like when we went on the day out, in all fairness to Ben, he has a Porsche GT3 Cup. He arranged my whole day for me, basically.
Nice.
He said, you'll be going in this car, you'll be doing this, doing that, doing this. I said, fabulous, I don't have to mess around. So one of the boys, which is one of the other admins, Lee, I went to his house, dropped my car off, jumped in his car, And then we met up in Sam services. So after Sam then I jumped in with Ben. We went over Rick Ross Mountain, and that's when you mentioned before about having like the video with the Rick Ross Mountain viewpoint as well. With all the different cars at the top. And after that then I jumped in Mike's car. He has a Lamborghini Evo, I think it's a Aventador, I think, as well. And that's quite, actually, you know what, I think Ben's car is more scary. To be honest. The Porsche is more scary. But yeah, so filming for that, it's just to give, it's amazing to have the opportunity to film stuff like that. Like, I never thought 2 years ago that I'd be filming for stuff. I never thought I'd be even in a car like that, let alone filming, you know, these cars. No, I never thought I'd be able to. But obviously, like I said, it's having that positive influence on other people to say you can do it. You know, it's just as simple as if you really, really like cars and you really want to chase that. It's just as simple as obviously filming, getting to know people, obviously, and it's how you do it as well as how you approach people, obviously. And I've always been, through the filming, I've always tried to be really humbled as well. So that's where people are more easy. They're easy to approach you then as well. And it gives obviously girls, you know, it's obviously, I think with the car culture, girls can, it's one of those, isn't it? Basically, being a woman is quite hard because I've always felt like obviously cars is like a man's hobby, it's a man's world, more of a woman's world. But it's really, really positive to see more women or more girls into cars, really. And I just wanted to be one of those people to say you can be in the cars and you can be a woman, basically, as well. So yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's yeah, I mean, I think it's a tricky one, right? Because there's quite often you know, quite a few egos knocking about in in car culture, I think, as a whole. And I think to a point that you said earlier around that gatekeeping aspect of it as well. I wasn't aware how offensive the question might be to someone when it's like, oh, so what gear do you use in terms of photography or video? Like you say, you know, some people are quite offended, I think, by maybe the upfrontness of just being quite, I think, well, direct. I don't know if that's the right word, but I think it's just having that conversation, right? And I think that whole gatekeeping aspect, like you say, is quite a difficult hurdle for people to overcome. But then, on the other hand, then you do have, you know, the youngsters who are picking up cameras for the first time, you know, 16 and even below that as well.
100%.
Obviously, getting the opportunities, and I think that's probably some of the benefit of social media and that sort of thing. You know, I suppose one of the positives of that in car community is that, yeah, I speak to quite a few different photographers and content creators, and it's great to sort of hear those stories where you've got sort of really young people coming through the ranks and getting the opportunity to to film and shoot some of these amazing cars that we've got, because there are some amazing cars in South Wales. Like, it's
I agree.
It's it's I suppose it's just knowing the right people, right? And being at the right place at the right time and that sort of thing. But yeah, I think, to be fair, like, South Wales car culture's pretty good, you know, as a whole. And yeah, the supercar collection that we've got, it is pretty outstanding, I think.
Yeah, I think you know, like when I've been filming for like all of these car clubs and car shows and everything, like I said, you know, there's been times when I've been filming and it's been a massive high where I've come home and I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I've just done that. Morgstone, like I said, was one of them. When I was editing the video, I felt like crying, to be honest with you, because it's so emotional when you're putting something together for someone else. I did mention earlier as well about Charlene. We done a video with me and Sub 5, basically. We done a video. It was Charlene's birthday party thing. Say birthday party, but it was a birthday thing. And obviously she was terminal. Bless her. So I got asked by one of my friends who was really close to the family at the time, to say, can you try and do this video? And I said, yeah, of course I can. I said, because when you've got these videos to hand, it's more of it's a memory as well that you can look back on.
Yeah, 100%.
It's not, it's the same with pictures, but I think pictures, they capture what stands still in the moment, But I think it's like when you take a picture on your iPhone and you've got live, you can see like the 2 seconds before you take that photo, isn't it? And I think it's them little moments that you get in a video that you won't be able to capture on a photo, for example. And that's one of the reasons why I took up filming as well. It's more of it's a keepsake where you can see something and it's down to even a topic or conversation. Like I think it was this year, we had a really good friend that passed away due to an accident, and I think that really shook me up as well. Really shook me up, because my friend was saying, like, please, I save everything now of my videos, everything, because it's just that little conversation you have with someone you might not get again. Do you get me?
Yeah.
So it's really emotional. There's a really emotional side of filming where I film and I do it more of, it's something that you can keep, and in all fairness, when I do film, I have my SIM card, and as soon as it's full, I get a new one. So I've still got my SIM card of last year. I haven't deleted any footage. So if somebody was going to say to me, oh, have you got my car? Have you got this? Have you got that? I can say, yeah, well, you have to give me a couple of hours to download it and try and put it, because there's loads in it's a 256 gig SIM card that I have on the camera, which is quite big. But even like I'm, we're 8 months really into the year, and I've already filled my SIM card now, and I haven't deleted it. I don't want to delete anything as well. When you say about, obviously, the gatekeeping as well with the filming with people, like I said, when I had my Civic, it made me laugh actually. When I had my Civic, obviously when I done the K-swap, a lot of people were saying, oh my god, what's your spec list, what's this, what's that, and it's actually it's a bit sad sometimes, because when I was looking for that advice, it wasn't really there. Obviously you have people online which have done an engine swap or done this and done that, but if it wasn't for I had a really good bait, which was Spirit 9, and obviously we done I was buying parts off Matthew, which is Spirit 9. Right. And he gave me all the knowledge and everything that I needed for my car, and me and this other boy then, which was Matthew's best mate, we actually done the engine swap. So he's got an EK4 which is 300 brake, and it's NA, for example. It's amazing to me.
Very nice. Yeah.
And it's on by report as well. So this is the thing that you look at, is that if it wasn't for them two obviously sharing their ideas with me to say, oh, get this or get that, that'll work better, this might not work as best or whatever, and then it really did help them for me to build my car. So that's when people have asked me, what's your spec list, I'll say, oh, here's my spec list, because this is what I've done. If you like my build, I'm in an ideal world, I don't think people are going to copy exactly to what you've got. Do you mean?
Oh no, yeah, no, of course.
I wouldn't think that. It's the same with the videoing as well. Like if somebody's going to ask me, how do you do this, how do you do that, like my style of film is completely different to somebody else's, for example, and that's what I've learned with Driven Car Club. Like obviously filming alongside with Flow Media, the whole point of why Ben wanted us both in the same club to film is that you've got one point of view and you've got the other. So you're covering everything in the car club, so which is really nice then, because you capture them little moments of like people laughing, making a joke, driving fast, or whatever they're doing, and that's the whole point. It's the whole point of filming then, isn't it?
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, yeah. So, I don't know. It's one of those, isn't it? It is one of those. Yeah.
Well, no, that's it. But I think, I think it shows that other side, that other side, and I think that's what's quite nice about this, is that obviously we get to have these sort of conversations with yourself and previous guests, and sort of jumping to I don't know, I suppose the emotional side of things a bit more, which, yeah, maybe is not often seen potentially as much in this sort of
No,
world of cars and
no, it's
engines
not.
and yeah, I suppose quite obviously it's gotten a lot better, right? But I think to your earlier point, quite a man dominated space. So obviously it's good to to get into some of that more emotional side of things and
Yeah,
talk about the power of content creation, right? It's like you say, you don't know when your last moment's going to be, but if you've got all those videos and those photos, then you've sort of got them to cherish for forever. So
well, this is it. Like, when I studied music, I studied music in college, and obviously going over to university doing singing. When you look at the technology side, because one of my friends, he said to me the other day, what if we don't use SIM cards when we're like, 70 years old? And I said, well, don't be silly. I said, they're still using cassette tapes, for example. I said, technology is moving fast, really forward really fast. I said, don't be wrong. But I said, like, we still got vinyls, for example. Like I said, there's always going to be something which is going to be out there to convert it or for you to see it in the future, do you mean? So that's why I'm not worried about, obviously, if I can access it when I'm older. But the whole, like, the other aspect of filming then is that when you are older, that's the other thing as well with the car scene or car community, is that cars are getting newer and you're not really seeing the old cars that you want to see. Like when I had my Civic 8 years ago, well, even I say 8 years ago, I say it's like more like 10 years ago really, when I was first into the car scene when I was 16, 17 years old. And I remember I had a Toyota Starlet 1.3 as my first car. Right.
Awesome. Yeah.
Oh, it was an awesome car. I loved it. It was in like D7 or 98 reg, and it was brilliant, right? And my friend, right, we were down LC2 in this car, mate, and you'd laugh, right, because there's my car next to a Citroen C2, and in the background there was all Civics, and that was it. You had the odd, other cars, whatever, was singing, this car, whatever. But majority of them were slammed on the floor Civics. And when I look back at that photo, I'm thinking, bloody hell, that was literally 2016 that photo was taken. So it was 9 years ago. And then obviously the car community now is gone more forward of where people are getting newer cars, because obviously the older cars are just not there, really. It's not saying that they it's that people choose to. It's just obviously to go out and get a Civic or a Starlet or a Grands or whatever you want to go get. It is hard to come across them. Like when I got my Civic 8 years ago, I looked for months to get my car.
I think it is, and I think it's the finance as well. So I was talking I was talking to someone at Unit 7 yesterday morning, actually. I didn't catch the guy's name. You probably know him. I think he's the brother of the guy that runs Supercar Sanctuary.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, I didn't catch his name. So you'll know who I'm talking about. But we were talking. We were looking at, I think it was a Ferrari 430 and a white Porsche GT3 actually. Now you've said it, it's beginning to ring a couple of bells. But and we were talking and we were looking at these cars and just pretty much just saying exactly what you said in terms of I suppose where the car community is going. I think obviously with finance, at the age of 18 you can go and pick up a Fiesta ST, and out of the box they're pretty good. Do you know what I mean? There's quite a lot of power in them, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think it's killed it a bit. I mean, my first car was a Yaris T-Sport, which, again, awesome old Jap car. But you just don't see them, you just don't see them about as much anymore. But it's a shame. It is a shame.
Yeah, no, it is a massive shame, in all fairness. Like, you know, it's like when you look at, you know, like when I was looking at the Civic, like the statistics, if you want to call it side, is
Yeah.
that, you know, like I spent so much on my car to make it 210 brake, and the blood, sweat, tears, and everything else about, right? And then you've got something then, like, for example, a 140, right? Yes, you can get it on finance. But for the equivalent, you know, yes, you can spend 10 grand into your car and make it, you know, 210 brake and the case swap, because that's how much it really is, really. You know, overall, if you want to do it right and do it good, then you are looking, you know, as a case swap, you're probably looking 6 to 7, maybe 8 grand. It genuinely depends, but overall, you know, when you go the coilovers and the suspension and this and that and everything, like I changed the subframe in the car as well. That wasn't
nice.
cheap. I'd be completely honest. It's not though. Like the parts for Civics are just not. They've gone up in price anyway. They're not cheap, you know.
Yeah.
But then, you know, like you said about finance and stuff like that, you can go out and get a 140 and be 58, for example. You can, you know, yes, you got it on finance. That's the downside. But then the plus side is that you've got a 360 brake car right on your foot, basically, and for the price of maybe 3 to 4 grand, you can put a stage 2 map on it and make it, you know, 480 brake.
Yeah.
That's a lot for someone that's, you know, young, you know, of the younger age. What do you mean?
Yeah, I mean it's dangerous. It's
Dangerous, yeah.
I think, and
dangerous.
that's the point. Yeah, I mean that's what we were talking about. You know, it's so.
But it's cheap. It's cheap.
Yeah, it's cheap. It's so cheap to get big power quite easy nowadays, and
yeah.
And I think that's I mean that's what's killed it. I mean, you know, each to their own. I'm not, you know, gonna hate on anyone's car or build or any cars, and I get it because, you know, I'd probably do the same thing if I was that age as well. But yeah, I think maybe some of that personality. I think especially with some of the older cars, you know, being able to like get out and fix it yourself. You know, older cars easy to do because, you know, it's all quite readily accessible. Whereas obviously we're moving forward now, and yeah, it's getting a bit more difficult to do those sort of things.
Yeah, and I think as well, like with the older cars, it's obviously car parts are more harder to come across.
Yeah, there's that as well.
Yeah, this is the other issue that we are facing. You know, it is literally just down to the market. You know, there's been a few cars which I've been looking at myself, and then trying to find an actual car which is down to spec of what you want. But then you've got to look at the downside. Then is that you are dealing with a car that's from, I don't know, the 90s, and unfortunately they don't have car parts are just as disposable, you know, which are there to on your hand. You know, you on your front doorstep, you just don't have that anymore.
Well, that's it.
Yeah,
I think,
that's the other side.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking Real Steel on the last podcast. Yeah. And hearing all about the stories of him, you know, picking up, what was it, 180 SX for like 1,300 quid or something back in the day, you know, and just destroying. It's like I jokingly said, you're probably responsible for killing all of the, you know, you and your friends responsible for killing all the Japanese cars in South Wales. But yeah, I mean, it's it's a shame.
Yeah.
But then I suppose, you know, you've still got people, I suppose, like Recent and like others, you know, that have got these icons, and you know, they're keeping them going for us. So.
And to be fair, if it wasn't for people like them, I wouldn't have content. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
That's the other thing as well. I've always been obviously when I have been filming, I've always been attracted to more of what, you know, it's the build of, you know, it's what they have, and it's a bit of soul, isn't it? You know, like I've always been a fan. I've always been a fan of filming just cars which are different.
Yeah.
You know? And it's to their taste and whether I find something that I like about the car. So, for example, you've got it was down to Philly Cars and Coffee. There was a Citroen C2. Personally, I'm not a fan of Citroen C2s, but this one in particular, it's fast as hell. It's really quick, and it sounds mint, and it's like it's got this wrap, no, I say paint or wrap on it, and it's like red, blue, and white on the wrap.
Oh,
I
nice.
can't remember off the top of my head, but it's quick, and I'm thinking, you know what? For me personally, anything that's loud and fast, I'm there straight away.
Yeah.
You know, so when it comes to like the stance and everything like that, like, you know, you got the scene boys, the stance, you know, the stance look. I think it depends on what you like and what you obviously genuinely like what you like. I think with the filming aspect, I try and my intention is it doesn't really matter about, like, obviously I like to film what I film, obviously. But when I do go to like the Cars and Coffee or the Supercar clubs or whatever I do filming wise, I try and have like a really open mind, because at the end of the day, you know, I absolutely love Pagani. Like, I'll drop everything to film a Pagani, no, like literally tomorrow, today, whatever, you know, anytime. But like, you know, when it, like, that's my desired taste personally. Anything to do with say supercar, but more like hypercar or anything like that.
Right.
But like, when you are filming these cars, even though I might not be, for example, like I do like McLaren, but say if it's not my favorite car in the world, I'm still going to film it, because I've always been more of, you know, if the person is nice and they've shown kindness to me and they've been supportive, it makes filming that car even more nicer and more sweeter as well, if that makes any sense.
No, 100%. Yeah,
That
agree.
really does help with the filming. I think as well with these car clubs, they've all been welcoming to me as well. Obviously, it has been, you know, it's a shame that I can't film for them all, you know.
Yeah.
I wish I really could, but I physically don't have enough time on the weekend to do every single car club. You know, like August now is probably one of the busier months which I have. So obviously, I think it's the second week of August. I've booked in to do have you heard of Bugatti Prescott Club, I think it is, or Prescott Bugatti Club? It's a hill climb which is based up in Gloucester.
Is it? I think I might know.
Bugatti's Owners Club, sorry. Yeah, it's Bugatti's Owners Club, but it's Prescott, it's called.
Right, okay.
But it's a massive hill climb basically, and they done one I think it was this month. They done one which was like a car day there. The month before, or I think quite a few weeks back, they done an Italian day there as well. It was fantastic. I was like, oh my god, this is brilliant.
Yeah, I think you went to that one, right? I think you
Italian,
did
yeah,
that's it.
The
Yeah.
Italian one. The Italian car day. Personally, I'm a fan of Italian, but like obviously Fiat and stuff like that and a Barks, you know, it doesn't really, it's not really something I fancy, really.
Yeah.
But when I actually filmed the overall day, it changed my mind. It really did. I'll be honest, because I came back from that day thinking, oh, actually, you know what? I'm actually it's when you look at the performance side and when they're going up the hill climb, you can compare it to other cars, and it's actually quite fascinating that these people have obviously modified their cars, whether the car is 50 years old, 40 years old, whether it's new, is that they've modified this car to obviously their taste, and it's actually quite spectacular, like some of the cars that are there.
Yeah.
I can never say the word properly. There was a what's it called? It's not a contact, it's a contact. I can never say it properly. It was a white on white. It was left hand drive.
Lambo, Countach.
Lamborghini, yes, Countach, yes. White. It was white on white. That was probably the most stunning car I have ever seen. And with the video, with the filming and stuff, and the music in the background, oh my god, it's just where my heart is. Honestly, it's where my heart is for the filming.
Yeah.
But yeah, so next month they're doing Steelford, which is a car club. So they done a car day last month, which is to do with supercars, but they do have, for example, like sports cars in there as well. And there's a massive like group of these people that go on this hill climb, and they're literally sending their cars up the strip or up the hill. And it's fascinating because that that hill climb, it's not like what's the other one, which is Shrewsbury, is it?
Shulsey, I think. I know which one you're on about, though, yeah.
Shrewsbury Walsh, which is another hill climb, but it's not like that. This is more open, and you can see them actually going up the hill. So that's really enjoyable. The Italian car day was fantastic as well. It was really good.
Yeah.
I think after that then, I went to a car show last year, and I say to all my friends, and I brag about it so much, there was a car show last year which was called Claysmore Supercar Sunday. So I tell you the story. It's so funny. And this was actually to do with self-confidence, and this is why I really did push it with the filming, actually, with the self-confidence, because I've always lacked in self-confidence with my filming, and I've always been quite scared to get in front of the camera. And during this time, when I started doing Claysmore, this was actually the first time. I might have been in front of the camera prior to that, but this was actually one of the very first times where I actually done like an outro to the video to say, this is Claysmore Classic, Cars and Coffee, blah 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 blah, whatever. And I loved the day. So I was laying in bed at 11 o'clock at night. I was scrolling through Instagram, as you do, and I seen my friend's story, which is Hugh. So he drives an Aston Martin Vantage, right? It's absolutely stunning car.
Yeah.
And he shared this story saying one night to go, and I was like, what's this? Like, what is this on my, like, I want to know what this is. And you can see this video, and they've got F40s, they've got Lambos, they've got whatever they got on this video, right? And they're all driving into this little, it's obviously Claysmore is a private boys' school, I think, as well. It's like a private school. And they've got this pond, which is a clover in the middle, and it's absolutely massive. It's really, I hate to say the word posh, but it's really, really posh, right? So seeing the video online, so I was like, I really want to go. Oh my god, I really want to go. So I rang my friend, one of the girls, and she said, oh, I can't come because I'm busy tomorrow. So I rang one of my other friends. He said, I can't come, I'm really busy tomorrow. So I was like, you know what, I'm going. So I literally got some shut eye. I woke up at probably 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, got myself ready, and I went to that car show on my own, which I would never do prior to that. I was like, I'm not going to a car show now. You know, this supercar thing. It was 3 hours away, which was down Dorset, down south.
Yeah.
So I travelled 3 hours. I stopped in Tesco, got myself a meal deal, whatever I had to get, a drink, put it in my cooler box thing in the car. I went into the show. I paid £14 for this ticket. I got in and I started filming, and I genuinely could not believe my eyes. The atmosphere in this car show, it was something different. And I don't know whether it's because I was on my own, and I was ecstatic for this car show. So I started filming, and for me, this is what really got me into filming supercars, right? Or luxurious cars, or sports cars, or something that's a little bit different, because these were like McLarens, Lamborghinis, Ferraris. You had everything, right? Aston Martin, you had GT4s, GT3s, you had F12s, like these cars, there was everything there you could possibly imagine. You had Del Boy's Robin Reliant there as well. I know it's really random. You had a Porsche cut up in half to show you like the actual making of Porsche as well. You had loads of trade stands there, which were actually trade stands from, you know, Porsche or Lambo, basically really high-end stores. There was a Speed Tail there as well, which is obviously a hypercar. Mm-hmm. You had loads of old cars as well. I don't know the old cars personally, because I personally like older classic cars, like obviously I say Ferrari Dino, I'm not really supposed to say it, but it's a Dino. I really like them, in all fairness, like old cars. But I'm not really clued up to my older cars. But if you obviously look at the video, there was hundreds, thousands of cars there. So I went in, and they had this thing then, which was a rev off. And I was like, rev off? So what's this? So you'd have 4 or 5 cars in a row in the middle of the show, and basically it's trying to figure out which car is the loudest. So I missed the first one because there was so many people. So the second time I got in there, and I remember sitting on the floor with this woman, and she was sitting on a stool or a seat or whatever she was sitting on, bless her. And she was asking me about the camera then. She was like, oh, what's that in your hand? Oh my God. She said, that's fantastic. She's so small as well. So she was really funny. And so we had, I think it was an Aurora, is it Aurora? Which is another, it's a really high-end car.
Yeah.
So he was revving, that was really loud. After that then you had the F12, which was like a camel green colour. And then you had an SVJ Lamborghini, and it had a Gintani exhaust. And that was probably about 40 grams worth of exhaust on the car.
Yeah.
And honestly, I could have cried, because when you're watching that through your eyes in the camera as well, you're watching an SVJ rev his tits off. He won as well. He well deserved to win that rev off. And obviously when the rev off was done, and I walked away, and then you had like a GT2. There was a GT2 there as well. And I remember filming all these different cars. And what was actually quite interesting about this car show is that it wasn't just supercars. So you had a Vauxhall 220, which is obviously, it's more of a sports car, fast car, but I wouldn't class as a supercar. But there was loads of them there.
Yeah.
There was an R33 as well, which was it was pushing big power, obviously. But you had like Japanese cars as well. You had NSX there, which is Honda. You had a few other cars there as well. But obviously, if you look at the video, there's hundreds, and I can't remember them all off by heart. You had Lancia Deltas there as well. So it was so fascinating to go to that car show on my own. And then when I left the car show, it was so funny because I was in my Hyundai at the time, right, an i10. And you could see me laughing, whatever, because I had this Aston Martin Vantage behind me, but I think it was, I don't think it was Vantage, I think it was like a DB9.
Yeah.
It was quick. And it was so funny because he was sending it on, and I kept catching up with him. And you could just tell that we were just both laughing. We were like, oh, there's a bloody Hyundai behind me, and it keeps catching me up. How embarrassing. But when I got home, I had bragging rights to that car show, in all fairness, and it was fantastic. It was such a it was a milestone way to gain confidence in filming, and then that's when I started that, and obviously putting my own stamp on the videos, and then putting my face in it. And if anything, I think saying videos, but it's like vlogging. That's when I started up on YouTube as well, so I put all my videos on YouTube as well, and I do that purely because not everybody has access to Instagram, or not everybody uses Facebook. Well, majority of people use Facebook, but obviously I don't really put videos on Facebook. But like I've got, I met a guy in a Castle Coffee, and he has, you've probably seen it. It's a gold kit car. But it's not a Caterham, I think it's a Tiger, or it could be a Caterham, but it's got gold all over the car, and it's got Lotus wheels, and it's like the reg plate is like RH0555, something like that. He's such a lovely guy, but he doesn't have Instagram. So when I was filming his car, he said, where can I find your videos? And I said, oh, you can look me up on YouTube. So he follows me on YouTube. And funny, when I spoke to him last, he said, oh, I watched your video. And it's so nice then, because then it gives people like that an opportunity then to see their car on this vlogging. You think, oh, that's my car on there. Oh my God, somebody's actually acknowledged my car. So that's the other reason why I film as well, because I think it's so sweet. Like when you do get people, you know, like when I had the Civic, it sounds really sad actually, but when I had the Civic, I felt like I didn't have many photos of my car apart from when I took photos. So photographers weren't really interested in my car because it looked standard from the outside, even though it was a K-swap. Not many people took videos of my car. When I went to Cars and Coffee, shout out to Real Steel in all fairness, he'd always make he made a Chepstow video last year, and he could never get the name of the engine right. He was like, I don't know whether it's a B series or a K series, but K20. And it was so funny because he actually put me in the video as well. But I think because this vlogging thing now has obviously come more to light now with obviously people where they have the confidence to do it, like the car was getting a bit more spotlight. But like when I first, like say 8 years ago, it got hardly anything. And then even up until probably like 2 or 3 years ago, like there wasn't really much interest. So like when I'm filming people's cars, it's like it was so nice to see my car there as well on my YouTube. And if it gave me a joy to see my car on Reese's video and Real Steel's video, for example, I was thinking, how would it feel for this, someone else then to see their car on my video? Do you mean? And I've had really positive feedback from people. And like I said about capturing the moment, you literally capture the moment where it can actually make somebody else happy as well. Do you mean? And a bit of self-confidence in their build, which is really nice. So,
yeah, no, 100%. It's nice to sort of give back a bit, isn't it? So
yeah, 100%, yeah.
And you said this event was it Claysmore Classic and Supercar Sunday?
This year is Cranford.
Right.
Unfortunately, it's the same day as Cruise Culture.
Yeah, we'll be at Cruise Culture as well.
Yeah. So I was a bit like, what do I do? But I've always gone to Cruise Culture every year because obviously I know Kerry, which is Luke's dad. And I've been really friendly with Kerry for years, and I think it's probably been about 5 years. So that's the other thing is I kind of took which one do I go to, but I think Claysmore is something that I've really wanted to dive into to think, is this like an opportunity where I can perhaps maybe not improve my videoing, but it gives me an opportunity to do something different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's so much going on in that car show. Obviously, they're going to be having the rev-offs. They did have a Spitfire airplane go over as well, doing a show, which I thought was quite interesting. I thought that was really nice, and it was quite interesting because you don't really get that in car shows, really. An interesting fact about the car show, the the boy, there was a kid, basically. He's like 19, 20 now. This car show it'll be the 4th year now. But 4 years ago, he left school and he said that he wanted to make a car show. So the SVJ, which is the one that won that rev-off with the guitar exhaust, he sponsored the kid 50 grand. And he said, okay, make your car show. The boy did. And that's why it's called, that's why it's Claysmore Supercar Sunday. And that is literally based on, and it's such a really good background and positive to the car community, because it's literally a 17, 18-year-old kid that said, I'm going to go do this. And he genuinely he's done something really, really, really cool. So that's another reason as well. Like, obviously, when you see stories like that, I'm going to mention X-Works because I did promise I mentioned it as well. I did promise it. But that's another reason why, obviously, I've been quite supportive with X-Works and obviously trying to help him with, obviously, these car things that he wants to do. When you see a story like an ATS, obviously the difference is that 50 grand, and that's a massive difference.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
But this kid is obviously, he said, I want to do something, and he did. And that is so positive because it's given me thorough happiness. And I booked this ticket 4 months in advance, in all fairness. So I booked it like 3 months ago. So I can definitely go to that car show. But like I said, it's in Cranford this time round. It's being shared on my Instagram left, right and centre anyway. And it will be for definite. But I did say to myself, should I gatekeep it a little bit as well? That was the other thing. Should I gatekeep it? But then I've always been a firm believer that if I'm happy, I've always wanted to make other people happy as well. So, if it can find you, if something like that can build your confidence or get you from a dark place, or, you can find other people who are like-minded or into the same cars as well, it's so lovely. Because when I went to that car show, everyone was nice, and people were actually interested, like, oh, what's that in your hand? What have you got? What are you doing when you're filming? And I thought that was really sweet. So that's the other reason why, like a bit of a backstory. So when obviously X-Works was saying, oh, I want to do this, I want to do like a meet and everything else, I was supportive of that, because, it's the things that we want to do and dream of. And if you do put 100% into it and you're motivated and you're dedicated, then you can do it as well. Do you mean?
Yeah.
And you've got to be smart about it as well. So that's how I've ended up knowing the people that I know. Really good mates of mine, which is Michelle and Steve, which have the SVJ, the green one.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, I'll film that car every single time I see it. And these people, they're so humble, it's unbelievable. And it gives me so much positivity to know that, you can have an SVJ or a Lamborghini and you can still be humble as well, which is so nice. And I think the last one then, which I'll be doing, is Salon Privier, and that's based up in Belen Palace, which is Oxford. And once again, that's a different kettle of fish again, because you pay for the ticket, but obviously this is more of a luxurious car show as well. I think Cranford is more of not cheap and cheerful, because I wouldn't want to say that, because you've still got the same variety of cars there, but it's more accessible, for example. So like, you can go to this car show for family, do you mean? But like Salon Privier, for example, the tickets are £55 each. So, for a family of 4, that's quite expensive. So I don't really think like Salon Privier is more towards the family kind of side, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Because I don't, I'm not saying like obviously people can't take family, but it's a lot of money, isn't it, to be taken out. If you've got 2 kids and obviously husband and wife, it's a lot of money to be taken out, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's why I like, like Cranford or Claysmore. That's why I like them type of car shows, because it's easy, it's just, you can go there and you can obviously get the family in for less than 50 quid, which is great, do you mean? And you can still enjoy. So
Yeah, no, I think it makes it a bit more accessible, doesn't it? Because
yeah.
I mean, I suppose you're quite fortunate in that obviously you've built these relationships. Like a perfect example, you said Michelle and Steve with the SVJ.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's not often like you get to see, one of them. Obviously, if you go to the Cars and Coffees and a few other events, you're more likely to see it, right? But something like that is, such a rare sight.
It's
so
stunning,
yeah, all
honestly.
for it. It's a beautiful car. I took a couple of pictures of it at the Apex. There was the white STO there.
Yeah.
Lewis.
Lewis Reed, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Was
funny.
driving. Do you know what? I spend all of my time watching his stories on Better Performance, shopping the catalogue of cars that they've got on there. Yeah, seems like a cool guy, but that was.
I tell you a funny story about Lewis. It was so funny because I met him down B&B Audio Concepts. So sometime he said to me, "Are you filming?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll be filming." So I filmed his day out, right? And that was fantastic because that was really well. Obviously the poster was everywhere. And he made me laugh because there was cars, coffee, and girls, and I was like, "Oh God, here we go! Is he actually gonna have girls there? You know what I mean?" But I think Baz just wanted a bit of a spin, a bit of a twist on it, and to make it funny as well, because that's the whole point, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I met Lewis through obviously B&B, and then he said to me, "Come down and film," and I was like, "What?" I said, "Do you want me to come down and film Better Performance?" And he said, "Yeah, come down." So in all fairness, I took my friend down to Better Performance to film the day.
Yeah.
I was mesmerized. I'll be honest with you. It was so cool to go down to obviously speak. Like like when you say like-minded people, but like it's a different world because these, like with, for example, like Lewis, like how he has built his business and his above and beyond finance, and everything else above is so fascinating because I literally said to, funny enough, I think it was the guy that owned the Lamborghini. I said there's a gap in the market, for example, where, and I thought this was actually really cool, is that like above and beyond finance, for example, you're giving the opportunity for, say, hardworking people to get a really, really nice luxurious car. Because in an ideal world, you go to, like, for example, like Porsche, you can't just go and get a GT3 RS, can you? Because you've got to have so many Porsche, Porsches before you can actually go get one. You've got to work your way up into scale. It's like Lamborghini, for example, if you're going to go to the main dealer, I haven't personally go to the main dealer, but I would have suspected that you'd have to have, like, you'd normally think as a hardworking person you'd have to have a top dog job basically to have something like that. Do you get me? Or to even be considered to have something like that. But I think what's really smart with Lewis's business is like above and beyond finance, which I keep sharing the videos all the time on my Instagram, because I love them. I think they're absolutely brilliant. Is that there's a gap in the market where you can give a hardworking person a car that they really, really want. And for example, it's like the APR or the finance or whatever, is that it works. Do you mean it works? And and I think it's bloody brilliant. And I think as well is that, for example, if you have got a supercar and for example, if you put your car up for 100 grand, and like not everyone is going to have that money spare to say, yeah, I can spend 100 grand. Do you get me? Yeah. So I think how Lewis is doing it is so smart because he can get something in for 100 grand, which he's bought. Then he can give it to the person, obviously on the finance, and it gives then that person that's actually sold the car the money back that what they've got. Do you get me? I might be wrong, but like that's my opinion on it. So everyone's happy, everyone's winning, and like I said, there's a gap in the market, and he's in it. But I think it's bloody brilliant.
No, 100%. I mean, I've never spoke to him, but I think it would be really cool to get him on and just talk through the journey of better performance and above and beyond. And I say I spent far too much time like going through the catalogue of cars that they've got in, and I love the little behind the scenes videos as well. It just makes it, I don't know, seem a bit more normal, even though they're not normal cars. And I think the idea, to your point around the finance, is probably one of the nice things about it, right? Is that hardworking people can obviously go out and get these nice cars in, and it makes that dream more achievable, which is nice.
That's the other thing as well, which I think is giving back then to for say the community, but it's giving back to the car culture as well. Like you said about, like, we go back to the other conversation with the 140s and the finance and stuff like that. But I think comparing a 140 to, like, for example, like a Lamborghini, it's different kettle of fish then, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think it's nice that he can give someone the opportunity to have, like, an SEO or Lamborghini, Ferrari, or whatever, even a Porsche, even whatever he's got in stock. I think it's really special. It's really interesting. Like, I think obviously if you do get Lewis on the channel, it'd be so interesting, and I'd be the first one to tune in to listen to the conversation.
Yeah, it would be it would be cool. It would be cool. But and I say he owns a couple of nice cars himself as well, because I went to the audio concept meets, and he had the M2.
Yes.
And that beautiful car that is, all kitted out, and I'm pretty sure he takes it pretty frequently to Nürburgring, right?
Nürburgring, yes. He has. He's been to Nürburgring countless times.
Living the dream.
He did have as well the GT3 RS MR as well.
Yes, with the watches livery on it, I think. Yeah.
Oh my god, that was absolutely stunning to film. And towards the end as well, he was doing a bit in the car park. He's been a bit naughty with the. We'll just say Mexico and donuts. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
Basically, but yeah. So it's a stunning car. Oh my god, it's so lovely to film, and it's the first time that I've actually seen a GT3 RS MR. That's the first time I've ever seen one, and it's just different. It's different than again, isn't it?
No, it is. It is awesome. So tell everyone where they can come and find and sort of see your content. And so obviously you said you've got the YouTube, you've got the Instagram.
Yeah, so on my YouTube is Jade Alysia K-Swap. So it's JADEALYSIA K-Swap on YouTube. And then it's Jade_EJ9 on Instagram. And literally you can see all of my content. I am a little bit behind on YouTube because I do need to upload 2 videos, so to bear with me on that one. It's just been manic, I'll be honest though. It's been absolutely manic over the past couple of months, filming for these car clubs, and then obviously next month is going to be the same again. Kind of taken this weekend just gone, I've taken it as a bit of a chill really, and I haven't really done much, which is not bad.
Calm before the storm.
Yeah, 100%. But so you can find me on Instagram, YouTube. That's where I normally post my videos, but Instagram is my main one. But yeah, I've always been, if you've seen me in a car meet, or you see me at a Cars and Coffee, or even out and about, like I always say to people, don't be afraid to approach and say hi. Obviously let me know who you are, because otherwise I'm going to think you're a complete random stranger. And like I said, if there's anything that I can do to obviously help other people with their filming or their, I wouldn't say photography, because I'm clueless with photography, I'll be completely honest with you, but if it's down to filming and like where to start and where to go, I have so many people message me. I tell you one thing, Michelle and Steve, or Michelle especially, she's a frequent person in my WhatsApp asking me on the weekend, what's on this weekend? Right? So basically it's like if people need advice on any car shows of what to go to get started, then I'm more than happy to send over like my events list as well. Because these car shows, they're fantastic. Like I said about Apex Room, another one which I think we might have gone to, which was JDS Details as well.
Do you know what, actually I haven't been to that yet. Every time it's come around I've been busy, but they've got the F40 I think parked up inside, right? Yeah. Yes,
they had the F40 on the first day, he did the Cars and Coffee, then he had the McLaren, and then he went back to the F40. Me and Joe from Apex Room, I was so special, like I felt so special that day from James, because he said to me, come here, I got something to show you. And then he opened the back, the back of the F40. It's not the bonnet, because the bonnet is the bloody boot and the compartment space, isn't it, for the boot and everything.
Yeah.
But he opened the back of the car, and it's only got like this. It's like a stand, basically, like this pole to hold up the back of the car, because that's how light it is. It's all carbon, basically. It's so light. And he opened the back, and you could, like, the whole engine and the air vents and everything was exposed. I was so lucky to get that shot, because it was only me and Joe which managed to get that shot of the F40, and it was such a special moment, because I've never seen that before.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It was fantastic. But yeah, James for JTS, or the Cars and Coffee that he puts on as well per year, it's fantastic. Same with Apex Room as well. In all fairness, if it wasn't for these boys, I wouldn't be getting my content, and they've been so humbled with me as well, to the point where if they've, obviously if I go to the Cars and Coffee, they've been welcoming, and they say, do you want a cup of coffee, do you need this, do you need that? They've been brilliant. I can't fault them. So yeah, shout out to the boys, basically.
No, brilliant. It's awesome. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on.
Lovely.
We're going to catch up in a minute so I can get that events list off you and
Yes.
steal it. But no, look, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Oh,
and
thank you.
yeah, thank you. Take it easy. Bye.
You too.